It was a chilly spring morning at JFK International Airport, and Miguel Santos had just landed in the United States after a 16-hour flight from Manila. He was a soft-spoken, intelligent 34-year-old Filipino IT specialist invited to speak at a major tech convention in Los Angeles. Carrying a black backpack and a rolling suitcase, Miguel looked just like any other traveler, except to some he looked different. As he followed the signs toward immigration and baggage claim, his heart beat with excitement. It was his first time in the United States. He was proud. This was supposed to be a defining moment in his life, but he had no idea how quickly it would turn into a nightmare. Just past the customs checkpoint, Officer Rick Dawson, a tall, broad-shouldered white man in a TSA uniform with a crew cut and cold, judging eyes, locked onto Miguel. Miguel noticed the stare but assumed nothing. He had nothing to hide. Still, before he could even take 3 steps further, Officer Dawson aggressively called out to him, "You, stop right there!" Miguel paused, confused, pointing to himself. "Yes, you," Dawson barked. "Step to the side." Miguel obeyed. As Dawson rifled through Miguel's bag without consent, pulling out his laptop, cables, and a worn copy of Atomic Habits, he kept making snide remarks. "You think you're clever, huh? What are you hiding?" Miguel tried to answer respectfully, explaining that he was here on a legal visa and had documents to prove it, but the officer wasn't listening. His tone grew harsher. He accused Miguel of trafficking tech equipment, of being a mule, and then, without warning, grabbed Miguel's wrist and shoved him against a glass partition. The entire terminal seemed to pause. Gasps came from travelers nearby. A woman dropped her coffee. A child started to cry. Miguel, frozen and humiliated, asked, "What did I do wrong?" Dawson ignored him, calling for backup on his radio while shouting that he had a non-compliant suspect. Miguel's voice trembled as he said, "Sir, I'm not resisting. Please look at my papers." That's when Sarah Mitchell, a freelance journalist filming her travel vlog, stepped into view. She had her phone out, capturing the whole thing. The video showed Miguel clearly not resisting, Dawson clearly using excessive force. As Sarah's video streamed live on TikTok and Instagram, within minutes it was seen by thousands, then millions. Nearby, an airline employee, Michael Reyes, a Filipino-American who recognized the language Miguel whispered to himself in panic, rushed over and tried to intervene. "I know this man is innocent. Let him speak," Michael pleaded. But Dawson pushed him aside. "Stay out of it unless you want to be detained too." But it was too late for damage control. Sarah's stream had already been picked up by social justice accounts. Hashtags like #Justice for Miguel and #Racist Cop were trending before airport police even showed up. When the airport supervisor finally arrived, he was met with a crowd of furious travelers and dozens of witnesses ready to testify. Dawson, now visibly nervous, tried to defend his actions, claiming Miguel acted suspicious. But video evidence proved otherwise. Miguel's documents were all valid. His purpose in the U.S. was clear and lawful. He wasn't just innocent. He was wrongfully targeted and assaulted in front of hundreds. Dawson was immediately relieved of duty and escorted out under internal investigation. Miguel, still shaking, was offered emergency medical aid and a public apology, but he knew the damage had been done. He had come here for opportunity and was instead made a symbol of injustice. But Miguel was not someone who backed down. With the help of Michael Reyes, Sarah Mitchell, and a civil rights attorney named Jennifer Cho, Miguel took legal action. The video became a lightning rod across American media. Interviews on CNN, MSNBC, and the New York Times told his story. Filipino communities across the U.S. and back in the Philippines organized solidarity marches. Support poured in from immigrant groups, tech companies, and travel rights organizations. Meanwhile, Officer Dawson's history began to surface. previous complaints, suppressed body cam footage, and a long pattern of bias. Miguel filed a lawsuit for unlawful detention, racial profiling, and assault. As the court case unfolded, more witnesses came forward, others who had also been unfairly treated by airport security but never had their stories heard. Miguel's courage gave them a voice. The case lasted months, but the verdict was historic. Dawson was convicted of assault and officially barred from working in any law enforcement capacity. The TSA issued a new policy requiring racial bias training, stricter surveillance of officer behavior, and the mandatory presence of neutral mediators at all detainment checkpoints. Miguel's story didn't just end with a court win, it sparked a national conversation. He turned his experience into purpose by founding an organization called